the Senators nothing. This was a character victory for the Bruins tonight.
Well, the Bruins got, let's just call it very nicely, slapped across the face and spanked by the Devils last night. So they're looking to rebound against the Ottawa Senators. And they can. The Bruins play very well at home. They're far better at home than they are away. Now, Jeremy Swayman will be out for this game. Seems like he's out of the lineup. Michael DiPietro got called up. So they're assuming Swayman can start the next game. Hopefully, that was kind of the rumor. And DiPietro is the backup. And just quick little side note, I'm a big Michael DiPietro guy. I think he'll be the backup in the future. I think his ceiling's pretty high. So Swayman is out. And the other line changes, I should say, or lineup changes, I should say. Brazeau and Wahlstrom are out. Brown and Frederick are in. Frederick, he's got to kind of bring it tonight. He's got to kind of showcase, whether it's for the Bruins or another contract elsewhere. You're looking to for him to have a solid game. And Brazeau, I mean, I don't think he's played awful, but against this Ottawa Senators team, I can understand maybe looking for a little bit change of pace there, change things up a little bit. The Bruins are jockeying for position against the Ottawa Senators and just generally the Eastern Conference right now for that last wildcard spot. The Bruins have the potential to be in third place in the Atlantic if they win tonight. This is a very, very big game, and the Bruins have to win this in regulation. They have to start putting these teams away and not giving them points if they're going to win. So let's get right into it. So the Bruins would start out the first period really strong, in my opinion. This was a very different start in comparison to last game, where I don't think they were awful against the Devils, but early on they dictated the pace. Freddie, with a good turnover here, would get a nice opportunity to drive the net. They weren't able to convert on it. And after that, when the Geekie, Pasta, and Zacha line would get on, Geekie would get a great chance alone. Forsberg looked sharp for the Senators. Brad Marchand would get a great chance. Good save there by Forsberg. And early in this game, they were getting a lot of offensive zone pressure time, which is something they struggled to do against the Devils. Geekie would try to bank a shot off of Forsberg and in. And I like this play for many different reasons. I feel like sometimes the Bruins always look for that perfect play. It's not always pretty. It can be an ugly one that goes in from time to time. So the Bruins do look good early. Now, Geekie, Pasta, and Zacha would have a very good cycle after that shift, just keeping it in the Ottawa Senators zone, making life very difficult for the Sens. They would get some good chances. When the Bruins on a odd man rush, Leroy get a chance here. Shot not really able to do anything with it. But, again, a lot of good signs here early from the Bruins. Zacha would get just so close. Off the post, off Forsberg, and I thought for a slight bit that this could have rolled in because it just was going, puck was rolling back in towards the net, but Forsberg, just snow angel, able to keep it out. The Bruins were the far better team early in the first 10 to 12 minutes so in this period. But then Johnny Beecher would take an extremely stupid penalty of holding the stick. He loses his stick, and then he's like, you know what I want to do? Just grab the Senators player stick. And I know Andy Brickley thought that was a terrible call. I don't know why. I know he's seeing it live, but he had to see the replay at the end of the first period. That was a very, very dumb penalty by Beecher. Yeah, I mean, 2 minutes, and puts the Bruins in a very difficult situation where they were kind of having all the momentum, and now due to that, when you're in the offensive zone, you take a dumb penalty. Now the Senators have a chance to take a lead, and this is where the Senators do most of their goal scoring. Now, Korpisalo would make a couple nice stops in a scramble, and then there would be a nice post hit here by Ottawa, so you go post for each team. And Coyle and Marchand would do a good job of killing some time in the Ottawa end, making sure to milk the clock as much as they possibly can. Really good penalty kill, in my opinion. And then Korpisalo would make a save after getting barreled into, or I should say before getting barreled into the net by Stützle. I know there might have been a little bit of contact, but Stützle definitely knew what he was doing there. I agree with Andy Brickley on that, but the Bruins kill off this power play. Korpisalo will make another great save here, post to post, moving laterally. Very good save there on Stützle. But unfortunately, Geekie would get a high sticking penalty. So this lethal Ottawa Senators power play gets another opportunity to try to get a lead. Tkachuk would have a great chance here in the slot, but he would miss high, and the Bruins would be able to kill off this penalty. Korpisalo would make a very good save late, under a minute left in the first period, and we go into the first intermission with this game 0-0. I liked how things were going for the Bruins until they started taking penalties. The Bruins are not good enough to afford teams to get a goal or two on their power plays. They're just not. They have to play disciplined. And there's going to be stretches in any game that, yeah, you'll have a penalty or two because you're battling for the puck. But the Bruins need to be better about taking these dumb penalties. The Geekie one, I don't think that's intentional, but the Beecher one, that's just brain dead. That is a very dumb penalty to take. So let's see how they're going to do here in the second period. So we go into the second period, and the Bruins would start out strong. They'd have a good low cycle behind the net. Forsberg would make a nice stop. But then Geekie would get on the board on a great effort by Pastrnak. I mean, he was doing a great job on this shift. What a nice feed over to Geekie, who just taps it in. Bruins go up 1-0. And they had a very good stretch in this period where they were getting a lot of chances, and it's just really good to see. Forsberg came up big quite a bit for the Senators during this period. Forsberg would make another big save on Coyle on a good 2-on-1 opportunity. And unfortunately, Zadorov, I want to point this out because this has been an issue for the Bruins. Zadorov makes a terrible outlet pass. Senators keep it in the Bruins' end. Nothing would come of it, but it's a trend with the Bruins. They really need to fine-tune that aspect of their game. Ottawa would keep pressure in the Bruins zone. Batherson would hit the crossbar. And yeah, the Bruins would survive after a very good surge by the Ottawa Senators. Now, Pastrnak would get a great feed on a one-timer, but he just misses wide. And Geekie. That line, Geekie, Zacha, and Pastrnak, they're feeling confident. I mean, look at these dangles by Geekie here. I mean, he's kind of feeling himself. He's playing really well. And then after Geekie hits Shabbat in a clean hit, Shabbat gets kind of pissed off and cross-checks Geekie, and it puts the Bruins up on a power play. And the Bruins get so many good chances here. Pastrnak with a point shot. Routine save here. Forsberg would have to make a cross-crease save on a marchand shot on a feed from Pastrnak, who's just been throwing some sweet passes. And the Bruins would get a few more chances here. Forsberg would come up big. And the best chance, or one of the best chances in this, was Patra alone in front as the power play expires. Forsberg with a big save here to keep the Senators only down by 1. Now, I have to say they didn't convert. It's not what you want, but they were shooting the puck, and that's always a good thing. It's one thing that drives me crazy when I'm watching the Bruins, them just playing with it on the half wall. Now, there was some back and forth rushes for each team. It kind of, the play opened up a little bit. Korpisalo would have to make a big stop right here. I mean, this right here, this is a really good save by Korpisalo, who for some stretches wouldn't be tested, but late in the second period, he would make some really nice stops. I want to point out this play here. Lethierry, I love this. I actually love Lethierry's game since he's been called up from the Providence Bruins. Nice little move from behind the net, kind of just challenging it. It doesn't have to be a crazy, wicked slap shot or wrister. Just kind of these little nifty moves here to challenge the goaltender, make sure he has to respect all angles. I love that by Lethierry. Pastrnak would make a great feed over to Geekie to try to get his second goal of the game, but they just missed, weren't able to convert. And about 2 minutes left in the second period. Can't speak apparently right now for whatever reason. Korpisalo would make a good kick save. Bruins would be unable to get out of their own end. Korpisalo comes up big with a couple stops. And this stick placement by Korpisalo, using the blade of his stick to intercept this pass and get out of a dangerous area when an Ottawa player was trying to throw it in front of the net. Small details. It's not going to come up on the highlights, but that was a great play by Korpisalo to negate that offensive opportunity for the Senators. And while the Senators had a very, very good surge late, the Bruins survive and they go into the second intermission up 1-0. I liked a lot what I saw here from the Bruins. Some good energy, some good hustle, some deep low cycles. The Senators are struggling when the Bruins are playing from behind their net. And I'm glad that they're using that to their advantage and just taking shots, making Forsberg have to make saves. If you keep taking shots and you keep making Forsberg respect every single angle, one of these shots, whether it's clean or off a funky bounce, one of them should go in. So the Bruins go into the third period up 1-0, and they would keep up the pressure on Forsberg. He'd make a nice stop here on a Pastrnak shot, and then Pastrnak would have a nice look to Zacha, but unable to get it through. Bruins, good cycle early, keeping the offensive zone pressure on the Senators. And Coyle and Zub would get into a little bit of a jockeying match in front of the net. Zub did not like that, so he would end up getting an interference call, take a whack at Coyle. Bruins go on the power play. And this power play by the Bruins was piss poor, just to be very frank. After that very solid power play we saw with some very good chances, was not a good look for the Bruins. I mean, Lohrei would make a very bad blue line pass. Senators would go the other way. Fortunately, nothing would come of that. And it just didn't go their way. I mean, Zadorov would also have a bad turnover. Sens almost score. Korpisalo just gets the tip of the glove on it, and then it goes off the post. Could have been a 1-1 game. Yeah, it's just these moments with the Bruins, they played such a solid game, but then they do these very, very bad mistakes. They kind of got bailed out there. Now, Patra, a little over halfway left in the third period. Patra would have a great look. Throw it over to Geekie, but he was unable to bury it, and he looked a little bit frustrated. He wasn't able to bang that home as the power play expires. Yeah, that was a good look, but power play it's got to be better. Then Zadorov would take a very bad tripping penalty here, putting his stick in the skates. I mean, that's going to be called every single time. And, man, the Senators should have had a goal here. Korpisalo makes the save, but the play is blown dead. And Stützle was enraged because the puck was loose behind Korpisalo. Let's be frank, that should have been a goal. But, hey, Korpisalo gets lucky. Bruins get lucky, and this remains a 1-0 game. And just kind of a comedy of errors here for the Senators continuing. Giroux carrying the puck. He would get hit by Tkachuk, so some friendly fire there. And while killing this power play, Brown would whack the puck, but he'd whack it out of play. Now the Bruins are down 5-3. And while they weren't able to corral and win the faceoff, the Senators didn't really get much on net here. I was a little bit baffled by that. It's 5-on-3. They're trying to look for that perfect play, reminding me of the Bruins power play at time. Bruins were able to clear it as it turns into a 5-on-4. And Marchand would have a great opportunity here, great shorthand chance. Tries to feed over to Lindholm. Looks like Lindholm was interfered with a little bit there, so they were not able to convert. Great penalty kill by the Bruins on the 5-on-3, 5-on-4. They did a very good job of negating anything from the Senators. So, I mean, even though I think Ottawa didn't have a great power play there. Later on, Marchand pokes the puck up to himself. And I really like this play. He drives the net, goes around the defender, and Forsberg just comes up huge. Forsberg had himself a very good night tonight. He made some really, really damn good saves. And he would not be done. Lohrei with a great pass over to Zacha, but Forsberg with another big stop. So, Forsberg would be pulled with 2 minutes and 12 seconds left in the third period. And if you're a Bruins fan, you know this can get ugly. When the Bruins have an empty net against them, your butt puckers just a little bit. Now, Ottawa gets some chances, but hey, no cigar thus far. And then it would start the Bruins icing phenom. It's just 1:38 they ice the puck, then 1:25 they ice the puck. At 1:05, the Bruins finally kind of gather the puck. Lindholm goes up. He shoots it once he crossed the red line. towards the empty net, but Shabbat makes a good glove save. And then with 50 seconds left, Zadorov, when it's in the Bruins' end, he just ices it all the way down. And it gives the Ottawa Senators a very good chance here to tie this game up late and try to force overtime. But fortunately for the Bruins, Pastrnak would grab this puck at the defensive blue line, go up, and score the empty netter. The Bruins win this game 2-0. So overall, this was a very good performance by the Bruins. I mean, sure, there's some things you want to fine-tune, but this was an amazing response after getting completely embarrassed by the New Jersey Devils. Now, these are two different caliber teams. I will acknowledge that. The Devils are far better than the Senators, and the Senators were missing some people. But to be fair to the Bruins, they're missing their two best defensemen as well. So, we're all, at this point in the season, everybody's freaking injured. But, I was very happy with what I saw. Good offensive zone pressure. They got to clean up some aspects of taking some dumb penalties. I will say that. I think Patra had some really great chances in this game. I got to mention him. I didn't mention him too much in the review because there were some good plays, but unfortunately wasn't able to convert. I thought he looked really good. And one big thing I've noticed since getting called back up from Providence, he's not being caught with his head down as much anymore. He's like looking, he's scanning. I love Patra as a young player, man. I think he's going to be very good for the Bruins. I think the potential's there. I know he's a little bit snake-bit when it comes to goals, but he has that phenomenal playmaking ability. He has a solid shot. I think it will just come with time. I was impressed with what I saw. I would also mention that the Pastrnak, Geekie, Zaka line continue to be the Bruins' first line and best line. They're clicking. And is it bad to kind of rely on one line for most of your offense? Sure, but for right now, you take what you can get. And, Lethierry, I think, has done very good since the call-up as well. I like his speed. I like his energy. Seems like a, very solid hockey IQ person to have on this team. I like it. I like it quite a bit from what I'm seeing. Freddie got put back into the lineup, as I mentioned earlier in the video. I think he did okay. Nothing outstanding, nothing crazy. Just kind of, an okay game for him. Nothing horrific, but nothing that really stood out either. So, good win for the Bruins. Now they are third place in the Atlantic Division. And it just shows how tight the Eastern Conference is. I mean, the Lightning could win in a night or so. I think they're playing tomorrow. I believe so. And they could be right back into third place. But this is going to be a very tight race. And kind of getting into the conversation about what the Bruins should be, buyers or sellers, this situation actually makes it difficult to tell. I mean, would you rather be a buyer or sell at this point? I mean, do you want to buy? I mean, you're so close. I mean, you could try to do right by the players that you currently have on your roster and try to acquire another guy to kind of, really get that extra piece to get over the top and be a little bit more than just a bubble playoff team. Or do you sell when kind of the value's high? That's going to be an interesting conversation, but it makes for some entertaining hockey games, and it makes these games, while they can be maddening at times to watch when the Bruins aren't playing well, it kind of adds a special type of pressure to it, and it makes it more enjoyable to watch, at least in my sicko mind. But good performance by the Bruins. Korpisalo made some great stops in this game, came up big. I think he looked good last night, too, against the Devils for when he was put in late. And, yeah, I mean, hats off to him. His third shutout for the Bruins this season, his 7th of the career, so he's really kind of probably enjoying his time here in Boston thus far, even though, there's the occasional bad start in there. But good win for the Bruins. You need to see more of this effort going forward. And I will say, you do miss McAvoy and Hampus Lindholm on the back end. And you're hoping they can return soon because I like Carlo and I like some of the defensemen on our team, but we have, I would probably have to say around 3 to 4 third-pairing defensemen in our 6-man D-core. And you get those two back, and it will appropriately slot the other guys more appropriately. And I think this team would be far better off for that. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Who impressed you the most in this game? What stood out to you the most? And do you believe the Bruins should be buyers or should they be sellers? Let me know your thoughts. I'm Captain Paul. I'll see you in the next one.